get everybody back in. First time I've used this, so hopefully
Yeah,
not too many issues getting to grips with it.
Cool.
Okay, cool. Where's everyone from?
Chester, UK. Not UK, like you're not all in England. Yeah, Cheshire.
I'm Liverpool.
Oh, cool.
I'm out north in sunny Chorley.
Nice.
Is it just 4? So 5.
Yeah, Greg.
Hello, how's everybody?
Good,
Okay.
you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Awesome.
Okay, see how many else is coming. Give it a couple of minutes. There's people. Okay, it's first time using this software, so bear with me while I try and get used to what I'm doing.
When I looked at the name of the website, I thought, is this a porn site? Because it's Steamy Yard. Then you realise it's Steam Yard. Just the way my mind works, sorry.
Also, to the people just watching, I can see a couple of people watching on the Facebook as well. If you comment or ask questions or want to get involved, you can in the comments, and then I'll read them out. So it's not like, so you can still, if you have anything to say about what we're talking about, you can get involved as well.
I just say, Ash, I think this is awesome that you've set this up, dude, and like that someone's taken the initiative to get like a bit of a group thing going on. You know, I've been looking for something like this for ages, like locally at least, anyway. And it's nice that someone's taken the initiative, mate. So I think that's pretty cool.
Definitely agree with all that.
Yeah, nice one. Cheers, mate. Yeah, nice one. So I wanted to do for a while, but just never really got around to doing it. And like you, I was trying to find somewhere to get involved in something similar. Like the closest one I could find was in like Blackpool, which I'm in Warrington.
Yeah, I
and
saw a
it's
couple
just
bits
that
in
bit too
Blackpool.
far to go. Like, or sort of get involved with, and can't find much.
Where are you based, Ash?
Warrington,
Oh.
so
I
not
think-
far from Manchester.
I think we're all geographically quite local.
Yeah.
I'm down in Oxford.
Oh, yeah, I remember that from last.
Kind of local.
You need to get up here.
Cold right now.
Yeah, I'm looking to like, obviously when we can to meet up in the pub and stuff like that, and have like say maybe every couple of months have a meet up in the pub and get to know each other more that way as well, especially over winter because obviously it's going to be a bit cold. But I do want to get out before the end of the month on a couple of Sky Watches, and then I'll be out on my own, and if anybody wants to join in and come with us, I'll just let people know when I'm going out, and then if anybody wants to come and just join. And
Cool.
Where do you think you'd be doing something like that, Ash?
so I want to go down Cannock Chase as well. Well, like I say, Cannock Chase, although that's probably a bit far from most, because there's so many things that go on in Cannock Chase, like not just UFOs, but there's ghosts, there's werewolf sightings, there's black-eyed kids, there's been all sorts of different things going on down there. But more local,
as well.
I'm not sure.
Is that the place with the, like huge underground like tunnels?
So we went out in the daytime.
Complexes.
No, I think that was it was Greg Bolton that posted about that place. That was near Buxton, I think. So again, a bit more further out again. And that was that. Yeah, that's pretty interesting though. The stuff he was posting, like it's been like used as test range and stuff in the past. So again, another one that's on the list to try and get out to. But I'm not really sure where to go for sky watching because, like Warrington, there's not many. It's like quite close, to, like Liverpool, Manchester, so it's not as clear. There's a lot of light pollution. I think the forest of Bowland was somewhere I was looking. and I think that's like one of the darkest areas I think around the northwest. Failing that, there's like obviously going out to the beach areas like Thornby, Southport, and then basically going on the beach and trying to get away from the lights really.
I think the only way you're going to find somewhere is actually by taking a drive out in an evening and just driving.
Yeah, so everyone's
trying to find some car parks or something.
yeah, that's that's the thing as well. Finding somewhere you don't want to be hiking too much, and especially with a telescope, I don't want to be dragging that too far.
Yeah,
it's quite a big one. But yeah, probably the next couple of weeks I'll be going out somewhere, so I'll set up on the location, let people know, and then anybody who wants to come can just come along and come and go as you please, really, and hopefully get to meet a couple of you guys. Yeah, so I guess you'll hear about the Venus news on Monday.
that makes 3 planets in this solar system then that's got life.
Drip, 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 drip.
Drip, yeah, that's it. Drip as we are going. Bit more. I think that's definitely what's happening. Hold on, I think someone else is trying to get in. Oh, gone again.
I think it's cool about us writing articles and creating like that online space you were talking about too.
Yeah. I mean, I'm currently working on the website. In fact, I might be able to show you the website. That's in current development. Yeah, here we go. This is obviously very rough at the minute. If I show,
Good.
there we go. So this is just like homepage. I've written a couple of articles and a couple like investigation reports on there. But obviously they're not visible yet. So that's like the homepage about us. Links to the Facebook of the UFO groups. I've been talking a lot with like the guys that run the other UFO groups around the country, and we sort of get a bit of a rapport going with them. And that's linked to the Facebook page, YouTube page. So it's not like saying that about creating. Oops, let's take that off. Making more content.
Yeah.
Getting everyone involved more, so it's more our group, and everyone sort of thinks like this is my group. I like being a part of it and stuff like that, and getting that community feel both online as we can now, and then when we can in person as well, and just building on that going forward. So there's like a lot of plans in the pipeline. I say anybody wants help out with anything, just let me know, because I'm literally doing so much at the minute, and it's just mad. Me and Greg have got plans in the pipeline as well. Greg, do you want to talk about that?
Yes, so been discussing putting together a podcast just with looking at sort of subjects that are not the normal ones. So, for example, like Area 51, certain main story of Rendlesham Forest, they've all sort of been done to death over the years. Roswell, all those kinds of things. So looking at different cases that are maybe not so popular, but not so well known, but are definitely more intriguing than some of the main ones. So, for example, there's everybody's heard of Skinwalker Ranch. There is another ranch.
Skinwalker Ranch.
There is actually.
You've all seen the documentary, I'm assuming, yeah? The Jeremy Corbell.
Yeah.
Is it the 2 series? Was it 2? Or was it just the 1 so far?
Just the one so far. They've been commissioned for a second one.
Excellent.
The movie documentary was way better than the series, though, right? I thought.
Yeah, I was a bit underwhelmed with Skinwalker Ranch. The
Yeah.
program,
It was
the book is
typical
amazing.
American cheese, wasn't it? The way they did it.
Yeah,
And very sort of drip
Yeah,
of little.
it's
just
Kevin Burns.
each episode.
It's anything that Kevin Burns has got to do with. He does like Ancient Aliens and Oak Island, and they do a lot of TV shows. And
Yeah.
and it really pissed me off with the llamas. You know, when they use the alpacas as bait.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that really wound me up because he switched. Apparently, the cameras went off and they couldn't see what was attacking them. And I thought, first of all, you've turned it into a tea show, and now you've just used alpacas as bait. Not happy about that, really.
Yeah, I was considering the technology they were trying to use there. This guy's a billionaire or a multi-millionaire. The guy's currently or was at the time owning it, and it just
Brandon.
yeah, Brandon. It was just a bit like the best you could get was this grainy corner of a screen bit of footage with like 1 second of something blown across. So
I'd love to go there though.
yes, it's out in Utah, isn't it? It's on my bucket list to go down there.
The film's quite good. The Skinwalker Ranch film.
Not seen that.
It's way better. The feature length documentary is so much better than the series.
No, the actual film where the kid goes missing at the beginning. It's the movie. I think
you mean like a movie, not a documentary?
Yeah, it's a movie about Skinwalker Ranch. It's the family that move into Skinwalker Ranch, and it starts with a young kid just stood in the front garden, and then just blue light flashes, and he's disappeared, and he's gone, and then it kicks off from there, and then it's all stuff.
It's quite good.
Yeah, it's really good in it with the giant wolves and stuff. Yeah, it's not bad at all. Proximity as well is also dead good. If you've seen that, that's one of the best UFO alien movies I've seen for ages. It's about this young lad who's like a hacker, and he gets abducted. Well, he comes across a spaceship in the jungle somewhere. It's sort of like next to a mountain, and he gets took up, but he doesn't remember it. But his phone's recorded it, and he puts it out on the internet, and then it all takes off from there. It's really good. It's excellent. They end up seeing the aliens. The aliens are dead good, and the way they communicate and the way that they can slow time down and all that kind of stuff. And it's like got a really poignant ending about religion and stuff. It's good. Proximity is well worth a watch.
I'll have a look for that.
If you send us your email, I'll transfer it.
Okay. Yeah. Is it on Netflix or anything like that?
Proximity, I think it is. I think Proximity's on Prime.
Okay, I'll have a look. I'll have a look after this. Yeah.
I think the really podcast is a good idea, though. Getting back to that.
Yeah, and so with that, there's I don't know if anybody's heard of Stardust Ranch.
No, well, that rings a bell actually. Go on.
Yeah.
So everybody knows about Skinwalker Ranch, but Stardust Ranch is it's a ranch out in Arizona that for the last sort of 2 decades, the guy has owned it, a gentleman called John Edmonds, and he, the day he moved in, things started getting weird straight away. And on the first day, he was walking across the ranch after owning it, and this guy with like ponytailed, sort of a bit of a drifter kind of looking guy was on his ranch that he just purchased at a knockdown rate. So he approached the guy and said, "Oh, what are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, previous owners kept me on here. I've been working here." And he said, "Well, I'm not going to need your help." And the conversation went along the lines of, "You will need my help." And he's like, "Oh, what do you do here?" And he goes, "I'm the one who keep the monsters away." And from then on, things started to get a little bit weird, and reported aliens, spaceships, lights. So much so that this guy's wife was, according to them, regularly abducted by aliens. So much so that John, the guy who owned it, started chaining his wife to the bed. To prevent them.
Yeah, we've all done that. Oh, go on.
And he found that a shotgun wouldn't help him against the greys that were sort of invading his home. The only way to kill these things was to remove their heads. And if you check his Facebook page, there's a picture. I might have the picture.
Is it a samurai
of
sword with blood?
Samurai sword, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's reported shooting at spacecraft outside the house with AK-47s, doing no damage, all sorts. But,
He's not thought to get a camera or anything, no.
yeah, there's loads of photos on his Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think the Ghost Adventures team did an
They did.
episode on them.
they did.
Yeah, that.
And he's been on several podcasts, but that's one of the subjects that is not so well known as Skinwalker, but it's quite lively in comparison.
When did this occur? Sorry, dude.
Over the last 23 years.
Right.
So he bought it, I think, 23 years ago. It's actually, there we go.
Oh,
I've sent you the picture of the samurai sword and the blood ash. You can put it on.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, I'll just put it on.
Yes. So allegedly, that is after the encounter with a couple of the greys. He found that guns wouldn't kill them. As I said, they're removing their heads was the only way, and samurai sword seemed the logical way. And he mentions that they sort of disappear and reappear in different parts of the room, almost instantaneous. There's a little delay, and he worked out over the years some kind of pattern that they would move in. So he was able to anticipate where these aliens were going to reappear. Whether you believe it or not, I don't.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah, I completely
mean,
Open to it, yeah.
when you hear his story, he genuinely believes that this is happening to him.
Did you anybody see Bigelow's statement about him having the greys aliens, different alien races are under our noses, and that's why
Yes,
he's kind
I did. I saw that the other day. Yeah. He said that they're here. Essentially, that
there's no reason to look for them. Yeah,
they're under our nose. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm sure the interviewer as well. She said something like, "Don't you care what people are going to think of you for saying something?" Like this? I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah,
I know
yeah. Because I know what I know. And
Man.
Is everyone familiar with Charlie Hall?
What?
Where?
Charlie Hall and the Tall Whites. Have you come across his books and his interviews?
No.
Oh,
Maybe.
yeah, they're really, really good. Because
is he the guy that was tied with the military doing something with? He was a weather outpost.
weather balloonist. Yeah.
They would bring, they would sort of almost parade their children in front of him to say, "Look at the weird human," kind of thing.
Yes, that's the one. That's the one.
Yeah. And then hasn't he been interviewed by Dolan? I think Dolan did a pretty good interview with him.
Yeah, I've seen him being interviewed a couple of times in the UK, and he's been on various radio stations and what have you. Yeah, I like the one where someone says to him, "Hey,
he's cool."
Oh yeah, it's weird. If you watch one of his talks, he's the most boring talker going until he mentions the aliens.
It's on Amazon Prime now, 1 hour 22 minutes, and it's called Walking with the Tall Whites, a documentary about his book.
Oh,
yeah.
It's in the.
It's really good.
In the title film.
Really good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. I'm gonna go and watch that as soon as I've got off this.
You'll love it.
Yeah.
Prime is really good for this sort of thing.
He was actually. I don't know if anyone else has seen this bit where they said, "Did you ever see a spacecraft?" Well, he was out and about on a walk one day, and he fell over and twisted his ankle. And they brought one of their spacecraft over, one of the smaller ones over, helped him on board it, or he had to get himself on board, and they took him back to the base in it. So he was actually flown on one of their spaceships.
Who, Charles Hall?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then one interview, they said, so what about the Greys? Oh, no. He says, I didn't see any of them. He says, they're on the other side.
Wow.
Yeah, he knew where they were. But I also like the bit was he in a camper or something? I think he was in bit of an RV or a motorhome or something. It's parked up, and it used to do pay by numbers. And you sit there just painting. You pay by numbers, and they come up and watch. Absolutely fascinated with paintings. I don't think the Tall Whites have that sort of art in their culture.
Wow. And also as well, I've read stories about a couple of the aliens that they kept at Area 51 were mad on strawberry ice cream. Have you heard that?
All right. No, I've not come across that one. Yeah,
yeah,
Poor
no.
taste.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'd love to. Come on,
Oh, I
strawberry
don't
ice
like
cream.
it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Well, I bet you're a cookie dough, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a cookie dough.
Cookie, I knew it. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Do you guys watch Hellier? That's on Amazon Prime.
Thank God someone else has seen it.
What is it?
I loved it.
Fucking
Loved it.
incredible.
Yeah,
Which
it was
one?
amazing.
What's it called?
Hellier.
Hellier.
How do you spell that?
Not heard of it.
Hellier.
It's how it sounds.
It's
What's that one
really,
about?
really brilliant. It's like you've got to get to the next episode.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
it's really alien
It's a
based.
really weird one to describe. It's kind of like it starts off from it's like a guy that was a ghost hunter when he in his teens, and had kind of moved on to sort of bigger and better things in that area, and then received a really weird email from a guy, basically said, hold on to your hats, but basically saying like, there's some weird creatures on my property. This is in somewhere in the southern states in America, like down Kentucky way. They've got some weird creatures on my property, and they were basically really similar to the descriptions of the Kentucky goblins, you know, from what was that case? They sort of redid it on an episode of Project Blue Book. I don't know if any of you saw season.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Season 1 of that. You know that episode with the where they were in the cabin in the woods and there was a little goblin thing.
Yeah.
He was basically describing that kind of thing to this ghost investigator guy.
Right.
It's really, really complicated story, and it basically goes on from there. They start to investigate these claims, and it takes them on the most insanely weird twists and turns. It ends up getting tied into it ends up getting tied into Indrid Cold and the Mothman thing.
Oh man, I'm torrenting it.
Yeah,
Speak.
It bounces around a lot, but it's the production values are incredibly high. The guys are really good investigators, and it's just, even if you're not into that kind of thing, it's still like so well made that you'd find it interesting to watch.
It's unusual and different from the other stuff that's out there.
Really is.
Yeah, and even they're
desperate
like
for season
It's a lot more genuine than a lot of the other stuff you can
what
watch.
happens to them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, very good. Go and watch it.
Have you seen anybody's watched Raised by Wolves yet?
Yeah, episode 4 or 5 episodes. I think we've had, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. Yeah. It's all right, isn't it?
It's good.
I should have brought a pen and paper.
Just message me. Anybody. I remember it all.
Cool. Yeah, cool.
So the Kelly Hopkinson goblin is the one that's similar to the. Hold on, let's get it up.
The Hellier goblins.
What is Hellier? Is it a TV show or a documentary, or is it?
It's a documentary series.
It's under a documentary, yeah.
There's 2 series now.
Yeah, there's 2 seasons of it.
And it's is it Prime?
The second one's much better than the first one, personally.
YouTube.
All right.
No, I saw it on Netflix or Prime.
Okay, it debuted on.
It's back to
it's on a Prime.
Email from this bloke, doesn't it? It's weird.
The whole Terry Rich thing. Yeah.
Is it
It's terrifying as well. The last couple of episodes of series 2, it was terrifying. And
what a Hellier.
Hard to watch. I was like scared watching it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're like deep inside the caves, and they're doing like a ritual, and they do the what's it called? The box thing where they try and communicate with the masks and headphones on, so you have no senses, apart from like looking like radio frequency type equipment. So asking questions, but he can't hear the questions, and he's just saying out.
It's called the Estes method.
and he's answering exactly what the question's being asked, and it's proper scary.
I really want to try the Estes method, but I've not been able to convince my other half to give it a go with me yet.
That's it.
A bit scary.
What we can do is actually.
I'm just trying to grab a
Hey,
charger
Ronnie in
for
the
my
chat.
phone. It's about to die. Won't be a mo.
Right. Yeah, it drains your battery, this stream you had.
Oh,
Has
bad.
any of you seen an alien movie called Altered?
No.
And it's about these lads, and they catch a white, a grey. They catch a grey, and they trap it in a suit of armor. But it's psychic, and it's malevolent, and they trap it in this shed, and the other aliens try and come and save it and stuff. It's really good. It's a little independent movie called Altered, and it's one of the best ones out there. Make a note of that. Altered, Altered, and Proximity. And there was another one as well. I think Extraterrestrial. That was quite good.
That's Altered, isn't it?
The Altered one, is that the one by Eduardo Sanchez?
Yes.
Yeah, he's Blair Witch. Looking at that on Google now. Yeah, it's Blair Witch guy is behind Altered. So yeah,
right. Yeah, it's good. Really,
could be good.
Really, it's really good. It's really good. It's scary, genuinely.
That's it. I think. Is that showing it? Can you see that?
Hold on.
That's weird. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that the Altered one?
Have a look. Hang on.
Sanchez, there we go.
Yeah.
Cool. Making note of that as well.
Yeah, you can't look it in the eyes. Yeah, if it catches your eye, it can make you do stuff. And that, but they're aware of it because they encountered it years before when they were kids, and they've set traps for it for years, and they finally caught one, but they don't realize how fucking aggressive these things are, and how protective they are of their own and stuff. So they're trapped in this shed with this malevolent alien that's got fucking nasty teeth and like telekinetic powers, and it's trapped in a suit of armor. It's brilliant.
Okay.
Right, sounds like my ex-wife. Well, she's the ex, obviously.
Yeah. There's always a reason, isn't there? I've got 4 of them.
Oh! So, but Roswell was mentioned earlier, and we know the basic story's done to death. But has everyone read The Day After Roswell?
No.
Oh, that is absolutely fascinating. You know, I'm sort of 54, so I remember back in the early 70s, and a lot of electronics were just sort of starting to come out then. And if you look at the history of something like the transistor radio, and the very early microchips, you know, you read the Day After Roswell book. It's called The Day After Roswell, and it's bugger all to do with the day after Roswell. It's like the 3 or 4 years. But basically, I think it's up at Edwards, they're slowly dismantling the spacecraft, and as they're trying to work out what the different bits and pieces are, I think they reckon that lasers and Kevlar, as well as silicon chips and transistors, came out of the spacecraft. And Philip Corso
and fiber optics as well.
Oh, fiber optics. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that's my dog's going.
And Velcro, funnily enough.
Oh yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Yes.
Ah.
Yeah. I don't know if they mention all of those in the book, but basically they went out to Philip Corso went out to industry and said, right, you know, you've all got to sign these confidentiality agreements. Here's what we've got. This is what we know that it works so far. You develop it, make a backstory, you make all the profits, and away you go. And that's why, you know, literally, if you look between like the end of the, or sort of into the 60s, between the 60s and the 80s, the sort of level of change was just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
I think that one of the really great arguments for some of that technology is what I just mentioned, which is fiber optics. Because if you think about it, if you're using a craft that's fiddling with altering its own mass, you can't send a signal down a copper wire in the same way that you would in an ordinary conventional craft, because its mass has been, altered. So you need to send your signals, your electronic signals, with a massless, a massless signal, essentially, which is a photon, because a photon has no mass, right? So that's why UFOs a lot of the time use fiber optics as their sort of to send a signal from one terminal to another, or one part.
I think if I remember rightly, fiber optics. You can put hundreds or even thousands of signals down one fiber optic.
Yeah.
Whereas copper, I don't know if you're limited to one or I don't know.
Yeah.
I still don't understand fucking record players. Never mind. You know what I mean? How does that needle pick all that shit up, like trumpets and vocals? And I mean, I can't get my head around that. Never mind sending photons down a tube. I still don't understand a defunct technology.
So a record player, you get a needle, you get a toilet roll middle, and you get some tissue paper.
Yeah.
Not toilet paper, tissue paper. You fasten the tissue paper over the end of the roll.
Yeah.
You sort of throw the needle in it, and as the record goes round, you put the needle on it, and the sound comes down the toilet roll. You can listen to it.
Yeah, no, that's all well and good, but I mean, it's still magic.
Air vibrations.
All right.
But yeah, like I say, it's like my background's in mechanical engineering. I understand mechanical engineering. But when you get on to electrics, never mind electronics, never mind avionics, it's like some of the videos I watch on YouTube now that you got these young 18 to 20-year-olds making these rockets that have flight control systems on board. These little G meters, acceleration meters that program and time them and adjust the flight. And you go, huh? Yeah. Yeah, you put water in it, you pump it up, and it goes. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the other thing I cover in my second book is two of my favourite aircraft: the SR-71 Blackbird and the X-15 rocket plane. If you look at those, they both got fuselages that sort of narrow at the sides. They've got these chines, and you're thinking, there's no aircraft in history that has those apart from those two. And the design for both of those was started in the early 50s. In fact, the Blackbird, I think, was designed and flew in like 2.5 years. Now, you don't do Mach 3 80,000 feet with any experimental backup. It just doesn't happen. You need to know the materials that you're using and the speeds that you're planning to go to are achievable. But there's nothing in Skunkworks history or NASA's history that proves up until that point that they're achieving those speeds and altitudes.
Yeah.
So they got the information from somewhere else.
Hi, Suzanne.
Hi, you're right.
Yeah, you.
Sorry, I'm late.
Hey, Suzanne.
I was late as well.
Yeah, my little one thinks he's a teenager.
Sorry, Gail said to be about our
You should have been in bed like an hour ago.
You never know, he might get abducted.
God.
Oh, God.
Dude.
They'll bring him back very quickly.
Yeah.
Okay,
so sorry, we all talked at the same time. How about that? I saw that spaceship thing that thousands of people have supposedly saw, and it was really, it was very, I don't know, too good to be. I don't know. I think it was too realistic, if that makes sense.
No, it's been proved it's a Goodyear blimp. Its flight path's been
tracked.
Right.
I was going to say it didn't seem right.
Yeah.
It seemed of this earth to me.
It is. If you Google it now, there's very, very clear images of the blimp itself and the blue writing.
There was like a scream, wasn't there, coming around?
Yeah. So if you look at that, what Ash has just put up now, if he goes and gets the clear image now, you'll see that it is exactly.
There was a screen on it going around, weren't there?
Yeah.
It's like this.
But when I saw it, I was thinking, nah. Because anything that's proper UFO tends to zigzag and be very jittery, I find. I don't know if you guys.
That's it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the flash at the top, so that instantly kind of triggered. I was thinking, right, you've got a flash on the top kind of left corner. But then there was that. It did look weird, though. It was almost deliberate.
Really this bit here is like the screen where the writing goes across, and that's what you can see.
Yeah.
I think it's because also everybody's on edge about it. I mean, literally, the whole world is crazy at the moment.
Well, we're just waiting for the next crazy thing to happen, isn't it?
Well, you can't. I mean, the Pentagon said that they've got off-world craft not made by human hands. You can't just say that and leave that story there.
And then let's throw a weird blimp in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say that we've got off-world.
It does look strange to say. It is very.
It does look. But it looked too realistic. When I've been on Skywatches, I've seen things and they're dead jittery and you're almost doubting yourself. It's weird. But that was like, it was too prominent. It was too still and too everything. It was just not right. Normal. It was too normal.
Yeah. We do need something.
I don't know what thing I listen for whenever there's like a video.
Was there's a flight path that was showing that.
Was there any conversation on the back of that video?
It's on the flight radar.
All right, yeah. It's a weird flight path.
I've seen that on quite a few other supposed UFO videos where, jet that they're following, and you can hear there's 2 or 3 people there, but no one's really excited. No one's sort of pointing and shouting and trying to work out what it is. There's like some basic conversation in the background, and thinking, well, if there was something on in the sky, wouldn't you be talking about it, or wouldn't you be excited or overly excited?
Yeah.
Whenever I see those, I think, that's nothing.
There's James Fox has released a new documentary, hasn't he? The Phenomenon.
It's not out, is it?
It's due out now. It's like any time now.
I thought it'd been like caught in.
I think it's 6th of October, the release date for that.
It's what?
6th of October.
6th of October, is it? Oh, okay. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, 6th of October, I think, the release date.
It goes into depth with one of my favourite cases, which is that school in Ruwa in Zimbabwe, where that craft landed in that school and it was seen by 64 kids. Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
And they've re-interviewed all those children as adults.
Really?
And it's the most credible UFO sighting, an alien sighting, like a close encounter of the 4th kind. That there is really. 64 kids, 64 children all witnessed it, plus the teachers and headmistress. And they've gone back now, like 25 years later.
And the same thing happened in Australia.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, that in 1977. Also, it happened in Shropshire in 1977. I interviewed one of the kids.
That one didn't land though, right?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, okay.
They climbed the fence and went over to it. David Jones or something his name was. I managed to track him down, and anyway, it was on the news but I interviewed him from a podcast. It's called Project Greybrook. It's on YouTube. You can hear it on there, and it ruined his life, like completely ruined his life from that point forward. Like he was bullied, tormented, like ridiculously. And I ended up having
an investigator.
No, but I'm a qualified ufologist, and I've been studying the subject for pretty much 40 years, and I've seen every movie, every bit of footage, read every book. It's like my biggest obsession since I was a 10-year-old boy.
Yeah.
So
I've got a bit of footage you can have a look at if you want.
You got what?
I've got a bit of footage you can have a look at some point.
Oh, please. Yeah.
It's only short. It's not. It won't blow your mind, but it's definitely. I had. Do you know Mark McCandlish?
No.
You will have seen him on stuff, dude. He did a tiny little bit on Gaia once, but he's had a couple of. He's been the focus of a couple of documentaries. He used to be a conceptual artist for the military aviation in America, and like he would design like futuristic looking planes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
His story is really, really, really interesting. He was good friends with someone who was sort of shown stuff they shouldn't have been shown. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I've had this guy, because I've got him on Facebook. I've had this guy have a look at this little bit of footage that I've got, and he was convinced by it. And he's a pretty knowledgeable guy as well. So
right. Well, I'm really
good. Later on, and I'll send you the link. I'll send you a copy of it.
Are you on the UFO group? Are you in the UFO? Are you in the Northwest UFO? Are you in Ash's group? The UFO group. I mean to just find you on Facebook, really.
Yeah, sure.
Because I really am terrible at social media. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing half the time.
Just find me in the group, or I'll find you in the group, and then I'll message you over a little bit.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'd like to see that. Yeah. Has anybody had an encounter, by the way?
I've seen an orange orb.
Right.
It looked like a big star, and I'm looking at this star, and I'm thinking it just looks a bit odd. So I grabbed my camera out as soon as, whereas most people would watch it and go, "Oh, that was interesting." I managed to grab my phone out as soon as. This clip, I think, is about 6 seconds long. There's not a lot to it, but just as I got the phone focused on it, the star seemed to get bigger, and then it turned. It literally turned to 90 degrees and sort of headed off. Get my finger going. It just headed off crossways. And it went in front of a cloud, which I thought was odd for a star.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Wow.
But it was literally just orange. And it's a similar direction to what I've seen previously, but I've not really sort of thought too much about that one. But there's definitely no navigation lights. There's definitely no strobe lights. And having worked on aircraft for like 14, 15, 16 years of my life, you get to know what they look like day and night, going away from you, coming towards you, sideways. I mean, I've seen some other things where you sort of see like a white light coming towards you, and as it gets closer or as it turns, you can see a red light or a green light, or then the white flashing lights. Yeah. You can see that. But this is orange, which is odd. And then when it turned sort of, I mean, it's a slow 90 degrees, like I say, over a couple of seconds. But then when it sort of disappeared in front of this cloud into the cloud, it's like, yeah, I'm glad I videoed that. It was definitely weird.
Yeah, I've not got any footage like that. I've had some pretty close experiences over the probably about 8-9 years ago, about 11:30 at night over the M6. I was with my wife Natalie in the car, and it was about 11:30. We was coming back from the Midlands somewhere, and I don't know if you know what this aircraft is or not, but I've been hearing about it. It was completely gunmetal black, perfect triangle, and it had a white orb under each apex, and it came over the car at about, I'd say, no more than 20 miles an hour. It just drifted over the car, and not a sound. I could have hit it with a rock. It was that close, and it deathly silent.
Wow.
Like not a sound at all. And then, have you ever seen the Dome of the Rock?
Yeah.
Video. Well, again, I had a succession of 3 incidents within about theme of have a look at the Dome of the Rock UFO. So I was driving back on the 62, and when you come over the high bit and you've got Halifax on the right as you're heading home, so you're headed towards Warrington.
Yeah,
you come over and you can see into like Halifax and Bradford and all that over that hill there. Well, the moon was out, and it was a full big beautiful blue, and it was clear sky, a really beautiful moon. And just underneath it, halfway between the horizon and the moon, was another moon, but half the size, and it was just hung there, and then it sort of pulsed, like this and shrank down to the size of a basketball and shot down to over the city and stayed there for a bit, and then pulsed again, and then swelled up to the same size that it was and shot back to where it was. And I thought, everybody's seeing this is going to be on the news tomorrow because it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And strangely enough, me and my wife had just had the UFO thing, the triangular one, the week before, and she was working at the Royal Exchange Theatre in Manchester.
Yeah.
So I rang her from where I was on the motorway, and she just left work, and I said, "You won't believe what I'm just seeing, what I'm just looking at." And she said, "Is it a moon-shaped light that sort of like changed?" She's seen it, she witnessed it at the same time. So me and Natalie have both got the same experiences, but no one else. I reported the triangular one to the police and got an incident number. Never heard anything back.
Yeah.
Did you report it to MUFON?
No, I don't.
No.
I'm not sure about MUFON. I think MUFON have been infiltrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've looked into MUFON. MUFON was part of my ufology course. If you go onto one of the sites, you can do a diploma in ufology. They're about 127 quid, but they're doing a deal now. They're 25 quid, and you can do cryptozoology and like Sumerian texts and stuff like that. Really interesting stuff. And I did it. It's good. The ufology one. It's 150 hours of study. And I did it in 15 hours and got 100%. That's how obsessed I am with the subject.
Oh dear. A small group of us went over to
cryptozoology. I think that was similar.
A small group of us went up to Scorton a couple of weeks back, and we was sky watching basically, and we saw lots of swirling stars.
Wow.
And then there was a hill, and over that hill we had a jittery orange light twice, same place, and it's powered down to nothing.
Did you
so it was there. We've got a photograph of it, but we didn't film it. We've got a photograph, but you can see the slight blur where it is going from side to side. So it's only got just a very slight blur, but you could put it down to camera blur.
Right.
But yeah, I can send it over to Ash, maybe, and he can
have a look at that.
Yeah, he can send it and just show. But to be fair,
Ash can run you a video, Johnny. Sorry, Susan. Go on.
Sorry, go on. It's fine.
I just say, Johnny, if you send Ash the video, Ash can play it on here, but you just won't be able to hear each other while it's playing. That's all.
Oh, like what? Send it over through the
if you sort of like WhatsApp it him, he can drag and drop. Yeah, he can drag and drop it and play it, but you just won't be able to hear each other. This is my platform. I paid for it, and it was just sat there doing nothing because I used to run a show called Project Grey Book, where I used to have a guest on every week discussing certain subjects. We had some quite good guests lined up, like John Thompson and people like that. We had some quite big names coming on, but the guys who were running it, they dropped the show because the numbers fell under 6,000, and they wouldn't have any show that didn't have any less numbers than 6,000. So ours was only sitting at around 1,500. So they just fucked us off. So I just sat. So what I did was I just paid for it myself for the full platform, and just give it over to Ash, and let Ash have a play with it. It's dead good. It's for commercial purposes. It's excellent. You can if you
it's really good software. This
if you do a proper discussion show, you can actually send this live on Facebook and Twitch. And all over the place, and people can come in and they can comment live, and you can put questions underneath and a banner and all that kind of stuff. It's interactive.
There's like a new YouTube or something. It's called brand new tube or something, and there's not many people on there. I think that's because everyone's sick of all the censoring.
Yeah.
So people are starting to jump off YouTube and Facebook now. So there's something called Wimkin and Parler, which I'm looking at. But this brand new tube, it's called. looks all right. It's a lot like YouTube. Might be worth looking up.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed YouTube's useless now. So
well, this
Google.
is like new. So it's like if whoever got in with YouTube at the very beginning, well, they become really big, didn't they, because of it? And this is a new platform which is supposed to give like freedom of speech, more stuff like that. But yeah, look it up. It's called Brand New Tube.
Okay.
Does that come
and there's
through?
a few.
Sorry.
Sorry, got a chat on here.
Ash?
Nat says she's lost a picture.
Yep.
Does that video come through, mate?
Yeah, I've got it.
It's only 11 seconds.
Okay, let's get this on.
Well, I hope you haven't got high expectations, guys. It's not a wow.
It's all right. No, we'll like it.
I don't know about anything, but my signal's gone really, really. I'll have to leave you. Awesome. Cheers, guys.
Oh yeah. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's definitely behaving UFO, isn't it? It's like.
Okay, so what you can't see on the little clip here, it's better if you get it on your phone, really, so you can zoom in on it. But if you zoom right in on it, you can see that the object itself, the light that it's emitting, is a red light. Right. And not only that, it's got like a weird kind of effect around the edge of the object, which when I was talking about English, he seemed to think it was like it was the highly charged sort of gravitational field around the craft interacting with the atmosphere. You know?
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, when I did the ufology course, it goes into detail about how the engine works. And
because the particles are so highly ionized, it sort of it reacts with any like dust or moisture particles in the air. And so if you really zoom in on the video, you can see that weird effect around it. It was filmed a few years ago in, I want to say around January, February time of year. It was a really overcast day, about 4 o'clock. That thing that you can see on the right-hand side is a lamppost. And yeah, it was literally there for a few seconds and then gone. We thought it was something on fire. It looked initially, because of the redness of it, which you can't really see on the video very well. Thought it was something. It looked like a plane on fire or something. Was our first initial thought, you know? Thought, oh, better video this. And then very quickly was like, hang on, that's not flying like a plane. It's not flying like anything.
Yeah,
and it's weird. And then it just
they bob and weave. They kind of give
it's got a weird bobbing. Yeah. So there you go.
Nice, lovely. It'd be nice if we could get one of those.
Abigail asked, was it stationary at first?
Sorry?
Was it stationary at first, or was it stationary at first? Abigail's asking.
It was continually moving, yeah. So yeah.
Does that need, just while
let's get rid of it.
we're looking at that, weirdly, I saw something unusual when I was riding a roller coaster at Disneyland Paris. It was late at night and it was the summer. It was a really hot day actually. And what we tended to do, me and my family, when we were there, is instead of watching the parades, because the kids were a bit older, then we'd go and watch the parades at like 11 o'clock at night and all the shutdown and everything. We'd go and do all the rides. And we were going around on, what's the name of that? I can't remember the roller coaster now. But I looked up for some reason, I don't know why. And for years I've got a telescope. I know where the planets are if they're out. And I looked up and I saw this shaped light. And have you seen the video clip from NASA where they're showing the curvature of the Earth and there's some like So on that, at certain points above the surface of the Earth, some sort of weird circular light sort of patterns go across the Earth. They almost look like a fried egg, for want of a better shape.
Right.
And lit up, intensely bright. And I looked up and I saw it. And it wasn't until we got off that I said to my wife, "Did you see that thing in the sky?" And nobody believed me, obviously. His dad's just being mad when we're out in France. And I didn't see it after we come off the roller coaster, but it was definitely something very strange on there. And the roller coaster wasn't going faster, it wasn't a looping one or anything like that. It was Thunder Mountain, I think it was. So it's just a sort of up and down thing. It wasn't anything major, but very strange. And as soon as I saw it, it looked exactly like that NASA footage. And I knew, wow, very strange, very strange.
I wonder what these craft that the Pentagon at, these off-wheel craft, I wonder what they are. I mean, off-wheel craft not made by human hands. I mean, it's disclosure as far as I'm concerned.
I can't believe how little attention has been paid by the rest of the media on that.
Well, no, it wasn't. The New York Times and Fox and the Independent were on them like a pit bull for weeks and weeks and weeks. And it's gone quiet now because they were going to release another statement and they were going to tell us what they've got, and they've not. And all they've done now is they've just said they've set up this group to check on UFOs, but they've not withdrawn the original statement. So they've got off-wheel craft not made by human hands. I mean, that's clearly saying we've got alien spaceships made by aliens. They're not made by fucking amoebas on Venus.
It's an admission.
Yeah, it is completely. Which means that there's places.
Abigail said, "Have you tried a dark web search?"
For what?
So for maybe this Pentagon information. I mean, I wouldn't know where to start with that sort of stuff. I don't know anyone else.
No, you can get it.
On the dark web, I guess it's called.
No, just don't go near it. You need an onion to go on that.
You do?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I hate onions.
Yeah, you need a Tor browser and your firewall like secure. That's if you let's say for instance you was looking for a hitman to kill your wife. I don't know. just
So you've been there and done that.
Speaking from experience, yeah.
Yeah.
The first
Go on then. What did you find out?
There's stuff on there you just cannot click on. Just don't go near particular folders at all. If you're going to go on the dark web, be very specific about what you're looking for and go to that folder and that file. Get in, get what you want, and get out. Because because people sit on there waiting for people that don't know what they're doing, and they will put shit on your hard drive or take stuff off you.
There's probably an ET folder with an experience with an ET that probably looks something like that thing behind you. Shudder to think.
This is Skinny Bob. This. Do you know what? Right, I've had it.
Skinny Bob is real.
Skinny Bob. Skinny Bob. He's got fingers missing. He got into a firefight with Phil Schneider, don't you? And, anyway, I've had it for years, and he lives in. I brought it into the kitchen for this show, and he lives in my living room, right? And even though I've had him for like 2.5, 3 years, it still scares me when I walk in the room, like twice a day. Twice a day, I jump twice a day, and I even know it's there. Like, so I have different themes. You know, if it's Halloween or Christmas.
It's a bit of cardio for you, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Sometimes he's a drum and bass DJ as well. Right. Yeah, it's great. It's popular, Skinny Bob. You like strawberry?
I was hoping to be here. You brought him on the last one.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. I've got this as well.
Have
you seen? Have you seen this? I got this sent to me by Giorgio Tsoukalos.
What is it? I can't see it very well.
It's a golden flyer. It's called. It's it's a copy, and they flew it. It's a copy of. I'm doing that thing where I'm doing the opposite. It's called the Golden Flyer, and it was found in a tomb in Tulum in Colombia, and it's 1,500 years old, and they built a scale model replica of it, and it flew. And so yeah, you can. I wrote to him asking him about because he wears one on the show, and he just sent one in the post.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Yeah, I used to wear it at gigs all the time. Well, I used to wear it all the time, and
I'd be scared to lose it.
Yeah, I keep it in a cufflink. I've got grey alien cufflinks, like what I say for special occasions, which means like anything that I go on, and I put like alien cufflinks on, and then I'll probably sneak this in somewhere. But it's only after all the years I've had this. I must have had this 10 years, and only one person has said that's the Golden Flyer. One. And I've met literally thousands and thousands of people. We're a very small minority.
You have to take a photograph of it, and we can have a good look at it.
I'll do it now.
Like later, and send it to Ash. Yeah, it's hard to see it because there's not much contrast against the black.
Hang on a sec.
Has anybody heard or seen the Anthony Woods footage from about 18, 19 years ago? I've got it on early DVD back then, I suppose it was. It's from up north somewhere. I've got a feeling it's in the Hull area, to be fair. And this guy, every day used to just see these objects in the sky. Let me try and, unless you can Google it, Ash, it's Anthony Woods UFO footage. And he started taking a camera out with him, and every time he pointed at the sky on a daily basis, he was filming hours of these things just floating in the sky. When you first see them, they look like an aluminium foil helium balloon, but then they've got this weird sort of glow. They rotate round, non-specific shape. They don't appear to be consistent in shape over the days and hours of footage. Very interesting guy. And there was a magazine back in the day, UFO magazine, and they prominently featured him in there. Also, it was on. There was some. I want to say it might have been on Coast to Coast. It was about 18, 19 years ago. This guy, they put a DVD out. I had the DVD. I don't know where the hell that is. I've moved a few times since then. But the guy seemed completely genuine.
I've just pulled up a video on YouTube. From one of Anthony Woods. There's nothing Google Anthony Woods, and there's one here. Let's get this up. This is one of his UFO videos that he caught.
I've sent you a picture, Ash, as well for Suzanne of the Golden Flyer. You show her that.
That's it. It's like a glowing.
Yes, I saw that today. But funnily enough, I've not heard of what you're talking about, but I saw that today.
What really weird. Seems to change shape.
Synchronicity.
Wow.
It's mad. And it's filmed on non-digital tape, because it wasn't digital back then. It was just analog tape.
Wow.
And he's got hours.
I think anything.
That's amazing.
I think any genuine ET kind of craft thing, they do kind of push past the barriers of reality, really, innit? And I think that makes it genuine. That's why I was thinking when we saw that blip. At the time, I couldn't see it was a blip because of the way the angle was.
Yeah.
But it looked too not out of this reality. It was just.
Yeah.
You have to think: is it like interdimensional? And there's these things, because I think if they come fully into our dimension, they're going to get picked up, and then there's going to be jets coming over. So they have to like toe dip a little bit and give you a little glimpse of something, and then disappear off quick.
Because they get fucking shot at. That's why.
Yeah, I know that. I know. And they've got to play it smart.
And they jam it because it's because of the protocol of war. because they jam signals, it's an act of war.
Yeah.
It's considered an act of war. So the minute they jam the radar, it's an act of war. So that's why the jets are out and they're ordered to shoot them down.
Yeah. So I think they just kind of come in, and they have to come in almost like a ghost. So it's partly in, and partly out. Oh,
yeah. So that was found in a tomb in
This is
Tulum.
Steve's brooch.
This is the badge I've got, and the reason that this is so important is because of the way the tail fin is. Because people were saying that it's a bird, it's representing a bird, but bird tails are flat. Bird tails don't go.
This was in a tomb. How many years ago?
1,500 years old it is.
Wow. It makes you wonder, what the hell was happening that time.
Yeah. And so you can watch the footage on YouTube. They make a scale model replica about 21 to 25 or something like that, about small.
Oh, I saw that. Then they put it in a wind tunnel, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no, they took it out. They put an engine on it, and it just took off, flew perfectly, looped the loop.
Wow.
It was.
You have to make a paper one. Try doing a paper airplane.
I do them all the time with my kids.
I'd make a paper one in that shape and see how far it goes. No, that'd be an interesting video to watch, actually.
Yeah, you can see.
It's amazing how things like that just disappear.
Yeah, there's a full Ancient Aliens documentary on artifacts. I think it's like season 6. You'll see the footage of it on there. I've got all of them, by the way. I don't know if anybody wants any. I've got literally every single episode, 15 seasons of it.
Wow.
And I've watched them religiously. I mean, in fact, it's what made me travel. I've traveled to most of these places that they talk about, like Machu Picchu and Puma Punku and all these kind of places, which I don't recommend doing the Inca Trail because it was the worst experience of my life ever. It was that I may as well just wrap my face in cling film and climb the stairs 4 times because it was fucking horrible. There's no air.
So what was your best actual experience then of visiting these places?
Staying in the Amazon, that was interesting. Doing ayahuasca with a shaman.
Right, that would have been.
That was very interesting. Machu Picchu was excellent, and standing on the Condor's head and looking out over the Andes, that was really interesting. And seeing the statue of Cortez and Palenque, I went and saw Lord Pakal in his jade mask, and I saw the tomb in Palenque. I did that thing clapping at Chichen Itza, where they built the thing, because I don't know if you know if I'm preaching to the converted, but when the Mayans moved from a more temperate zone, their holy bird was the quetzal, which is a big, beautiful bird with a 3-meter plumage, and it was their holy bird, and it made a particular sound, but it couldn't survive where they'd moved to. But what they wanted visiting dignitaries to think that they still had the quetzal bird. So that chamber at the top of those stairs at that mount where you clap, when the clap travels up, it resonates and comes out as the sound of the quetzal bird's call.
I remember Thomas Sheridan talking about a cave or something. I can't remember the name of it, but Thomas Sheridan is into a lot of the ancient stuff in Ireland. And he says that where the people were saying that these people were sacrificed, it wasn't a sacrificial ground. He says, because when it went in and made a sound, it resonated at this particular frequency. So whatever has been going on in the past, they're way, way, way above our heads on what it is they're doing.
Oh man, the Mayans invented fucking sweet corn. They blended 2 types of grasses. That is the only vegetable in the world that's to be unplanted. They had 9 different types of food. They lived until they were like 86, 90. They died from old age, not disease. They had fucking fridges because they managed to dig into the permafrost through the rock strata. I've actually sat in one. They were amazing, absolutely amazing. They had observatories. Why the fuck they need an observatory? I've no idea. And I one time as well, when I did the tour of Mexico and all the Mayan sites, I went all the way down. I landed in Cancun and went all the way down Mexico and up through Guatemala into Belize, and I travelled through these wet caves, called the ATM caves, and we climbed this. And we went in there for 4 miles. You had to swim it, squeeze through rocks. It was terrifying, I'll be honest. And then we climbed this big shelf, and inside it we found a calcified skeleton, and which had been sacrificed because the Mayans used to take them there, and in the dark as well. You remember they've got no light, so it was pitch black, and they drug them, bloodlet them by pushing shark teeth through their penises, right, after giving them like ayahuasca, so they'd be in like a drug state, and then they take them all this massive distance into the cave, and then take them to the top and sacrifice them. So I've just sent Ash the picture of the skeleton that we found up there, just like calcified into the rock. Look at this. You got that, Ash?
While you're waiting for that to upload, can I just mention a really, really good YouTube channel for you guys if you check out with that stuff? It's called Uncharted X. You wish.
What's it called again?
Yeah, sorry, mate. It's called Uncharted X.
Well, I have heard of it,
Yeah, and he really does demonstrate like ancient, high-level engineering and technology in a way that you can't argue against. Really, you know, it's really, really good.
It's. I mean, I've actually look at that. I've actually been to like all those places. You know, the walls in Cuzco and all the bricks.
Yeah.
And they've literally been melted. You can't even get a playing card between them.
Well, people talk about it being a geopolymer, don't they?
What is that? You mean like something that can be molded?
Yeah, like a concrete.
So they had the technology to do that.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Well, the Mayans and the Incans said that these cities and walls were already there when they turned up.
Oh yeah, it was definitely inherited from an earlier culture.
They're incredible, absolutely incredible. And that's one of the first places I went because of Ancient Aliens, because of that show.
So have you got a YouTube channel that you'd recommend?
Not really. I was kind of like developing something called Project Grey Book, which was just it was this, but with guests on, and interviews with podcasts with abductees and experiences and famous ones. So what I would do, I'd spend months tracking down like the guy from 1977, the guy who climbed the fence and went over to the aircraft in Wales, that, you know, the UFO in Wales, the lad that got bullied all his life because of it. Dave Davis, his name is.
Yeah.
So I would track them kind of people down. There was also a policeman that had been being abducted from being about 5 years old regularly. I had to disguise his voice, which I did up to a certain point, and because I'm a fucking idiot, I left about 5 minutes of him in his own voice in the middle because I didn't realise. It's like unblurring someone's face. You know what I mean? Like a graph. So yeah, there's this Project Grey Book. There's videos up on there, and there's some good podcasts, and there's a really good podcast of one of my friends. I don't know if you know, but I've been a stand-up comedian for 22 years. I've been on the circuit for decades now, and I've worked with many different people. And one of the comedians that I work with is called Phil Butler, and slowly but surely people started to find out that I was a UFO nut, and they said you really need to speak to Phil Butler, and he had a major close encounter when he was 19. And he's goes into detail. If you go on Project Grey Book on YouTube, and I will listen to the Phil Butler one, it's really interesting. It's him talking about him being a kid and approaching this craft, this dome-shaped craft in a farmer's field. And I've put the location on there as well, so you can go and you can Google Earth it and have a look where the actual craft was and stuff. And as he approached it, he said he got about 10 foot away, and it started to just give it, like sort of wobble like that, and he couldn't get close to it, and every time he got closer to it, he just moved away from him until finally it drifted off, and he ran after it, saying, "I'm friendly, come back."
As he's running towards it.
with a big stick and a fucking. So,
Yeah.
yeah, and then for 3 days, he started for 3 days over his house. But that's a really good story, that one. But the copper one's a good one. And there's another one with another comedian in it. Do you remember that one where there was all those UFOs in New York, and everybody saw them? There was like a fleet of UFOs.
Was it the Phoenix Lights one?
No. There was about 10 years ago. There was and it was a guy who's like a colonel in the army predicted that on September the 18th there's going to be like 13 UFOs over New York City, and it happened. It actually happened. And my mate, who's also a comedian called Glenn Wool, was out with his mate in a bar in New York, who's a lawyer, and got it notarized by the lawyer. So they all saw it, and but that's on there as well. So if you want to go and listen to Project Grey,
it'd be interesting to have a listen. Yeah,
the podcasts are dead good, and the footage is all right. But I just gave up on it in the end because I was running out of guests. Because not many people really want to come on and talk about their experiences.
Yeah, it's hard because it's such a subject, isn't it? And you don't get like you say, they laugh at people and stuff.
Yeah. I was this close to having
annoying.
John Thompson, like a day away from getting John Thompson on the show because he's had experiences. But I reckon I could still get him. I reckon if we sort of do this a bit more and I chat to him, he might pop on and have a chat with us.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, great.
I love John Thompson.
Yeah, he's great, isn't he? Yeah. I've been in a few states with that lad. See,
there's been a few people that have.
That just scared me again. It just scared me again. Like I just literally was gonna get up and fucking. I'm gonna go and jump in the bath. I've not had a bath for a week. Right? I know, literally, honestly, I've like been at the gym and everything, and I'm just so lazy. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you all again. Let me know when it happens again, Ash. You just message me and I'll send you the code.
Yeah, we'll do. Cheers, Steve.
All right, guys.
Steve,
take care.
To the Mark we were talking about earlier.
What was that?
I've dropped. If you just look in the chat to the right, I've just dropped a link in there to a YouTube video with that Mark McCandlish guy I was talking about earlier, the military conceptual artist.
Got it. Right.
Cool.
It's in there now.
Cool.
Right. Thank you. Nice one. Cheers. Add us on Facebook, everybody.
Yeah, we'll do.
Okay. See you, Suzanne, Greg, Johnny.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
What was the name of that guy again, Greg, that you mentioned?
Do you want to back up there, guys?
Anthony Woods.
Anthony Woods. I knew there was Woods, but I couldn't think of the first name. Yeah, I'll probably look him up as well.
I think you can get the full. I think the full DVD of him is in YouTube. It's quite an old video. It's really interesting, actually, but very unlike anything sort of regular UFO sort of shaped. It was all stuff like that he's seen. It's really weird. Really weird.
Yeah, have a little look at that.
Definitely something a bit different to look at. And Stardust Ranch, how about?
They come out with lots to watch. That was chat.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, the guys. Yeah, the guys had some strange experiences. So yeah, definitely.
Have you had any at all, Greg?
I've had that one in Paris. Not really. No, not yet. Anyway, I live. I'm right near Fries Norton. Literally, I did hit it with a stone. RAF Fries Norton. So we get lots of planes, and the stealth bomber comes in sometimes. We have Chinooks all the time. I was saying to Ash about that. There was I don't know what that pair of helicopters were over today. They're like Apache type things. So we get all of that, like Boris Johnson flies in, all that kind of stuff. But we're actually right next to White Horse Hill. Uffington is quite a sort of a pagan type hill where it's supposed to be haunted up there. I've seen a few crop circles up there. when I've been crop circle hunting, there was one several years ago called a jellyfish jellyfish crop circle. I don't know. Let me try and find it. Yeah, it's massive thing, like 200 meters long, huge thing. How anybody?
I was talking to someone about crop circles, someone who's really interested in them, and he said that each crop circle, if it's a genuine one, he says when you look at the crop circle, you get kind of information from it on a different level. So it's not what you're seeing. He says you get, what did he say now? He said when you look at it, it gives you certain information in your consciousness. It gives you a download, I think, was what he said. If it's a genuine one, if it's man-made, then obviously, you know, that's not going to happen. But he says, he says, look at the pictures. If it's a genuine crop circle and you actually get the benefit, I remember that's what he said, the benefit, and a bit of a download or something.
There was a section in the documentary. Have you seen the documentary Thrive?
I did an online course with crop circles.
Right, no way.
Right.
Did it mention anything about them being two-dimensional representations of 3D machinery or energy flow? Because that was a big.
No, it talked a lot about like Suzanne said, about the spirituality of it and the connecting. You've got to be like sort of the consciousness connecting to it to be able to actually see it like properly.
Okay. Yeah, when I stood in the jellyfish one, it was quite weird. There was also somebody there was hunting around for it to re-energize their crystals at the same time. That was behind. So if you Google White Horse Hill, that's Uffington, you'll see it. It's if you play any kind of games as well on one of the driving games, it's actually featured on this driving game with the White Horse Hill. But there was a crop circle below White Horse Hill as well, and I went in there, took loads of photos of the crops, and if you look at the way the crops are laid down, for want of a better phrase, if the ones I saw had like nodules, so they weren't broken when they were leant over, they were actually like globules and bent. That's White Horse Hill just there, yeah, that's just down by me.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that they actually, it manipulates part of the plant or something, and it does something. Yeah, it kind of, it's not normal flattening. It's there's a big difference.
It looks like it's actually been fused at a right angle. Yeah, that one at the top right there, Ash, that's the one near me, White Horse Hill National Trust one. I've also just sent you a picture of the jellyfish crop circle on Facebook Messenger. So that was the one that I'd seen, or if you just Google search jellyfish crop circle, it comes up with this kind of a thing. It was impressive to find, and this was the days before iPhones, so it was very basic communication tools really. There must have been 2009, maybe around that, 2010, something like that, maybe 2011, just before the iPhone 3G. There we go, that's the one.
Wow.
Massive thing. Yeah, so I don't know how whoever did that.
So the thing with the nodes within the plants, I'm sure I saw like a scientist break this down, and it was something to do with the moisture within the stalk of the plant had been vaporized. So it's essentially been microwaved, but in a very tiny locality within the stem, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it was essentially water heating up inside the plant. So it's microwave. It's microwaved, really.
Yeah, and it sort of fuses it. So it fuses it at that angle.
Yeah.
You can lift it up, and it'll just spring back down. It's not like a flattened type thing. So yeah, it's interesting to see. So yeah, both that one and the other one, that was a white horse hill that I saw. That was like the fused nodules on the crops as well. So it's very strange, very strange. It felt strange going in there. It felt weird whilst we're standing in there. But
Well, like weird, like energy wise, or just a weird
Yeah, I'd love
feeling.
to go to that CC one.
felt different. Yeah, sort of a weird sort of
Sensation.
yeah.
So did you ever see the crop circle that had presented a mathematical feature that had never been done before, and it was a 2D representation of pi? No, so the crop circle itself was like a triangular crop circle, and in each corner of the triangle there was a different circular symbol, and in one of the corners, in one of the circles, was a really strange shape. It was kind of like almost like a spiral sort of thing, but with weird little right angles in it and stuff. And a mathematician got to work on it and decoded that it was a 2D representation of pi, but represented as a pictorial representation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I have seen that.
Which is weird. It was about, I'm sure Linda Moulton Howe did a thing about it as well, and it was about like within the circle, you go around a certain distance, and then there's a right angle, and then you go around a bit more, and then there's another right angle, and it all adds up to a certain formula, which represents pi, weirdly.
Yeah, it's all based on numbers. Everything's all based on numbers.
I have a lot of gremlins when it comes to maths. I wouldn't be any good with anything like that. I have a whole.
Oh, me neither. But I just
sister one.
It's not the one I was talking about, but that might be a representation of the same thing. It was very, very the triangular one essentially had that in one of the corners. But yeah, I think that's the pi representation. Yeah.
What do you think creates crop circles, or who? I know some of them are just plainly humans making them.
Well, obviously, yeah. I don't know. I think some of them are. I think that documentary Thrive got some of it right in that they're showing us either 2D representations of how you would achieve zero gravity or mass cancellation, or it's a like a message that we can't understand in a form of language that we can't understand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, someone probably does. Someone probably understands. There's enough intelligence on, someone will know, but we don't get to know, do we? But I do think that we are.
There's that old analogy of like how often, if comparing aliens to people by saying that, why would, when you're on your way to the shops in your car, how often do you pull over at the side of the road and explain to the cows in the field what you're doing? You can't explain it to them because they can't.
Yeah, I know. I get.
And there might be things like we're not ready to understand yet, or you know what I mean?
I know, but there is people with higher intelligence. There's people that are more connected to the spirit world. There's more people that can actually. I do know people that actually communicate with ETs and get messages. There's people that get downloads from them. So no doubts, there's people that could be ambassadors for us to be able to communicate with them and give us messages. No doubts, but these people will be either too scared to come out, or they've been got to.
Maybe. I think
I've no doubts.
I think all of the answers that we've come up with, and
I think there's something to it. Well, the consciousness side of things.
There's a spectrum. Everything's got a spectrum.
I've been reading a lot about
and
the astral
humanity
projection stuff, and it's just like it's insane.
Yeah. There's a spectrum of everything, and there'll be a spectrum of people that have got abilities, and I think it's just a case of us like talking about it, getting our stories shared, and just because it's a personal experience thing. I mean, you guys could say, well, I saw this, but that's your experience. But with the CE5s, everyone needs to experience their own experience, and then we can come together and share those experiences. But if one person is telling like non-experienced people, like the whole audience, oh, I saw this, that the whole audience is just not going to relate. But if the whole audience has been off on a CE5 and had their own experiences, it's different. And I think the more people that get out there, the more people that, you know, and it's really a nightmare with this COVID because no one can get out, and obviously the winter's setting in now.
Yeah.
But I think this is the best time for everyone to just connect electronically and just stick together and plan for the spring next year and just get right out there, because it's not good how they're really trying to keep everyone divided. Just as, you know, this CE5 is really taking off as well, especially in this country. I know it's been in America for years, but you know, I know lots of people now. I never knew one person 2 years ago. I did not know one single person that went out doing CE5s. Now I know about 20.
This is my first time speaking to anyone.
All right. Yeah, but when you start talking about it and there's groups and you get pulled in, you meet one person, they introduce you to another person, and then before you know it, you're part of the group. There's a group, we're in, you know, near Blackpool. So there's a group of about 4 of us near Blackpool. Then in Scorton, there's about 6 of us. There's a couple of people in Lancaster. There's a group over at Todmerton near there. And then Ash is kind of, he's got all his guys. And I think we just all need to like get together. But there is still people whom like, I want to go on a C5, but I don't want to do it by myself. And there's these like people that are stranded by themselves, and I'm trying to kind of like reach out to them and connect to them, you know, and such as yourself, if you've not been on a CE5, you know, you need to get in with people, but you need to trust them. So like 2 years ago, when I wanted to go on a C5, I had to eyeball these people, so I had to get in front of them in a public place. So it's about being safe. So it was like, right, okay, you know, I'm this person, I'll meet you at this public place, you know. And then what I did was I met another person in a public place, and then we then would go and meet someone else. So it looked like we, 2 of us, was going to meet them. So they thought we knew each other for ages. So we just felt a bit more safe in numbers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, and you don't know who you're meeting. So like, you don't want to be going out on a C5. You know, this one person, it was just an older guy. It was so funny, right? And so I met him, and then I met this other guy, and he'd got a bad back and he got some sticks. So I'm looking, I'm thinking, well, I could run away if I needed to. And then when we went to meet someone, and he'd got his sticks with him, I was thinking, well, if we're on a C5 and this person starts acting up, we've got some sticks that we can use. But honestly, we've not had a problem, but you do need to build trust. And I think, you know, if you're not in a group, it's a good idea to connect in, meet people if you can, eyeball them, but you've got to feel safe with them. Especially me being a girl. I mean, maybe you guys, it's not so bad, but me being a girl, I've just got to like be safe. I'm ready to throw a punch anyone who tries anything, you know what I mean? But honestly,
for sure.
I got a torch. I've got this torch, and when you twist it, these little spikes come out. So that was my because I'm quite a short girl as well. I'm not big. But the people that I've got now, the group that I've got around me, I feel completely safe with. Oh yeah, there's a group in Warrington that have been there for years, and I was kind of like, I've managed to kind of like wheedle my way in to that group, and so I'm part of that kind of group, the Warrington group now. But they just like to talk. They just like to get together and have a coffee, and a couple of times a year, and have a good chat, do a bit of meditation maybe, and that's it, and that's fair enough. But managed to get a C5 set up this year, and a couple of them from that group, and I was like, oh God, you know, we're so excited, I've never been on C5, and honest to God, it was like puppy dog energy. It was so good. And there were 6 of us that went out, and it was good. It was just nice to get together, and it's just the energy of people, especially when you know them as well. So there's 3 girls, 3 guys. It was sound. And then when there was 9 of us, we saw something. But yeah, it's just
hopefully we can do something
make the
similar
connections.
soon.
Yeah, you know, and it's just I've found it's like herding cats, but if you can get at least 3 of you together, 3 of you, you don't need loads and loads of people, because honestly, I've found in my experience, if you've got a person in the group with a low vibration, it does impact seeing anything. So if you've got someone who's, I don't know what a low vibration would be. We just had someone who I believed would be a high vibration, and this person went for a wee round the bush. And when he went for a wee round the bush, that's when we saw something. It disappeared before he reappeared, before he came back. So it's like, whoa, he wasn't meant to see it. We were. There you go. So it's like, go figure. It's like, what's the rules? The rules, honestly, you just got to do it. You just got to do it. You got to get with some people, gel with them, and just do it. Even if there's 3 of you, that's the least we've ever had is 3. The most we've ever had is 9. But it was always 3 of us somehow.
You could put something up on local spotted page. If you do Facebook, I responded to a spot in the local town where I am. Somebody put up about paranormal, any paranormal groups in the area. I responded to that post, and within a day or 2, there was 7 of us who set up a meeting down the pub, and we've got our own paranormal group. We've got a website.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, we've been going for nearly about a year now.
That's amazing. That's really good. But I found people on the CE5 app. It was the Dr. Greer app that I got. And that's where I found most of the people. And then I managed to like drip one of my friends into coming out, and the first time she saw something. So that's it now. She's, every time we go out, if she can come, she can. And then she got another mate in, and then that's how it just grows. It's weird, honestly. There was a chat group that my mate was in, and I was trying to tell them about the CE5. They knew nothing about it. Next thing they know, because I've mentioned it once and they've started looking into it and watching Dr. Greer, they've set up their own group. And then I don't even know. They don't even know they set it up. I'm like, oh, yeah, they've set up this group. I'm like, what? Well, we need to get together.
Real quick. Sorry. I've got to go. But Ash, I just wanted to mention something that you mentioned right at the very, 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 very start of the call, which was, you said if there's anyone that could offer any help with anything with the website or anything like that, mate, if you need any like logos designing or any artwork or anything like that, give me a shout. I've got a page on Facebook I can share you with a bunch of my like artwork and stuff. So if I can help with any of that, I'll happily
thank you.
Really.
Nice one.
Yeah, give us a shout. Right, I'm going, guys. Cheers for everything.
Yeah, I'll take you up on that.
Cool.
Thanks. Cheers, Janet.
Right, take care.
Do you have any more plans coming up soon, Suzanne?
Not at the moment. I think I've not really planned anything because the weather's just getting really bad, and there's a lot of chemtrails and there's a lot of storms coming in. I don't know if anyone looks on Null School Earth. If you look on Null School Earth, it's a really good way of watching how all the storms are being made just out in the Atlantic. Okay. So it's called Null School.
Yeah, there's about 5 or 6, isn't there, all at once now? So
it's they're all like, there's some really bad ones coming in. So Null School Earth. So it's NULL School and then Earth. So it's null, like null and void. And it's a good app to see what's going on. And it's so weird because if you press the cursor, click the button down, you can see all these squiggly lines that are supposedly natural, but they don't look very natural to me. Okay. So you know when you're trying to move the planet around, the globe around, you see all the little squiggly lines. It's so weird.
Okay, yeah.
You get it. Apparently, that's just the two. Honestly, it's like you can see what they're doing somehow. To me, it's like you see this squiggly line, and then in the middle of like like a right angle or something. There's a storm brewing, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see that. I've not heard of that before.
So that I always look at that to see what's going on, because you can see the storms as them kind of being built and growing. And then so I saw something where they said, "Oh, look, they're all lined up in a row like ducks." It's like, yeah. Well, I do like Null School. I always check there, but at the minute, I think because of the bad weather coming in, they're going to really milk it. So I doubt if we get any clear nights. I think it's going to be impromptu. It's going to be like, right, I'm going, who's coming, sort of thing. You know, it's going to be one of them
tonight.
Whereas in this, yeah, in an hour. So, but in springtime, I think we'll get back out there. But I tell you what, though, when you're out there, seriously, it gets really cold. The amount of people, I keep warning them, I'm like, it's going to be freezing, right? It's going to be so cold. Bring a hat, I always take a spare blanket thinking I need to double up on this. I always end up giving it away. Actually, 2 of them, because they're older than me. And I'm thinking, right, I'll dither, you can be warm. But I swear down, one turned up in shorts. It was summer, right? But it wasn't like super hot. It was a bit windy because we're on the coast. And this is the one who went round the bush for a wee, and then we saw a sighting, a major sighting, and then he came back, it had gone. I was like, you missed it. He was wearing shorts. I'm like, why are you wearing shorts? You're going to be freezing. I've got like a winter hat and everything. He's looking at me weird. I'm looking at him weird. Yeah, he was dithering. He was absolutely dithering. So you need blankets. You need to be warm. That cold sets in, seriously. And some people...
Yeah, a bit warmer down south.
Yeah, no, north it's not. Get that cold wind. Oh, God. But, yeah, you need your hat. You need your hat. You need a blanket. It's always...
Oh, sorry.
No, go on. I was just going to say that's it.
No, I was going to say, have you guys seen I think it's Stan Roman, let me find it. Stan Roman. It's on Roman documentary. I don't know if you've seen that. It's on Netflix, I think. The guy started filming UFOs things. Right at the start of the documentary is a video clip of what appears to be a genuine UFO, and then he documents all these weird things that are happening in his house. Lights appearing in this CCTV cam, looking outside this sort of like trailer home, and this light just appears over the top of it. Really weird looking thing. Then it goes a bit weird where this grey looks into his window and he films it, and not so sure about that. And then he starts having conversations in a full-blown relationship with this other abductee. Very strange. It's all documentary. He's got his phone calls with this alien race. They play the audio clips saying he's a star seed and stuff like that. Yeah, it's worth a watch. But prepare to watch this guy. It appears that he sort of loses his mental health throughout the documentary, and it really starts to affect him. And then at the end of it, he gets arrested for child pornography. Like, really, just
it sounds very, very spiritual. I always worry about, you know, when you're starting to lose your mentality, that means something's draining off you, or something's getting in. And
you can definitely tell it on the documentary.
And I do think paedophilia, there's a massive like demonic thing around paedophilia and anything. So, and I do think there is certain demonic things around the ET, but only, you know, maybe sounds like this guy has had like bad experiences. And I think that's, you know, I think there's like the positive ETs out there. And then there's a negative force, be it human or be it demonic, that want to disrupt us, like having contact. So if you've got 3 people and two are best friends, right? And then the other friend sees this other friend that they want to make friends with, but the other friend gets jealous, wants to get in the way of that. And I think something along those lines is going on. And I think it's a case of us just pushing through and trying to keep a really open mind, because we are literally stepping into something we know nothing about. And I think it goes way deeper than what it's not just simple. It's not. So I think we've got to keep an open mind. And I think the more of us that like bring a little piece of the puzzle together to the main picture, if we can all keep in contact and just say, look, I had this experience, I wonder if it's this, and then other people have got other experiences, we can maybe get a bigger picture together, all of us. And when you see that bigger picture, that's going to educate us all in the areas that we don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I want to keep staying in contact with a lot of the groups and stuff, so I can get their stories, and then, you know, if we can all like get together, because I know nothing. It's like nursery school, but it goes way up to university level, and we're just starting nursery on this. We're just splashing around. Playing with the little things, and that's it. We know nothing.
That's what I've been trying to do. Like, this comment here is from Mike Maunder. He runs the Swansea UFO network, and I've been in contact with Mike quite a lot, and a lot of guys from the other UFO groups. Like, a lot of it's very localized, so we don't know what's going on in Swansea or what's going on in Cornwall or what's going on in the Northwest.
But
so I'm trying to link up with all the guys that run it, come together, share the information, and then we have a bigger picture of what's
going on. Because there is definitely a demonic thing, and when I do anything to do with the ET stuff, or even meeting people, I will put, and whether it sounds crazy or whatever, I will put protection around myself. So like the necklace that I've got is the Helm of Awe, and I always wear that because that's for spiritual protection, the Helm of Awe. And then I'll sage before people come to my house, even if I know them. I mean, there was a lady I've known for the last 8 years. She's not into any of this, but she's had some weird experiences that I perceive as demonic attacks on her, that she doesn't see that, but I see that. So she's coming to my house, and I'm like, right, I need to get the sage out. And literally the sage, and just intending to protect your space all around, both above and below. And you ask angels and guides of the highest vibration only to protect you and protect me, protect the house, protect the property. And I had an experience after protecting the property all around where something went on just outside. So when I did protection to the door and my friend came in, I had someone knocking the window upstairs in my bedroom. And I had a mentor who was a medium. And I says, I had something knocking the door. I thought I put protection around the house. She says, you did put the protection around the house, and it stayed outside of the house like it was told to. But because your friend had come in and then gone out on a higher vibration, it didn't recognize her. So it was knocking the window to see where she was.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, right, I'll take it to the gate. So I took the protection to the gate rather than my front door.
Wow.
So I took the protection to the gate, and then there was a kerfuffle going on outside my house. The litter police were outside my house trying to find this person who looked like a tramp. Of course, me being me, softy, I went straight out, didn't I? Left my property, left the protected zone, and went outside. And then things started to happen, and I was like, I dropped myself in it right there, right then. So, again, protection. And this is anything to do with ET, anything to do with anything, you've got to put the protection around, I think.
Yeah.
And just be open-minded.
Yeah, when we do the paranormal stuff, we do a lot of things for that.
It'd be good to share what we do, actually, because some things might work for other people, and I only know like a couple of things, really.
I'll put a link on that.
So I'll just light a candle.
To my group, paranormal group. We put stuff up there. Obviously with COVID, it's all a bit up in the air at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually started being careful with the friends that I hang around with now, and if they actually don't take measures to protect themselves, they stay in the outer circle. I only let people kind of in now who actively protect themselves, who will and know about this stuff, because sometimes things can piggyback on them to try and get to me or whoever. Just got to be careful. It's a massive broad spectrum on this.
Yeah.
And that story, what you said about the fact that he turned to child pornography, one, that's an outright discreditation on the ET, and that makes all people interested in ET or who get visited by ETs as weird.
Yeah. It's, yeah, I think some it was it's come out of the hoax. I know the footage of the alien, the grey, looks completely fake, but some of the early stuff in the documentary looks really, really good.
See, from his perspective, from his perspective, it could have been he was having that genuine experience, but it's got compromised somewhere along the line.
Definitely.
And that's why when I do a CU5, I always meet people at a location, so a public place, and then we go on to the location. We don't put it on Facebook.
No, I didn't put anything on Facebook.
Cool.
I think somebody's put paranormal and ufology are closely linked in many ways. I completely believe they are. That's how I started off.
Yeah.
And paranormal all around the same sort of time.
I think the positive definitely as well, because there is the positive, because they're on that same dimension or whatever, high vibration.
Absolutely.
And so if I see something and it feels positive, and you have to go with your own gut with it as well. Is it positive? Is it not positive? If it's not positive, you need to just put protection or just get out of there. I've had negative experiences. I've never had a negative ET experience, so that's good. Well, I've had a few spooky things happen that are not good. But again, once I've put the protection in there and done whatever I've got to do, then it's gone. Usually, it never sticks around. It can't stick around.
No, that's definitely
yeah.
But yeah, I think we should definitely share our ways that we do the protection.
100%.
Cool. Okay, let's finish it there. Thanks, guys, for staying to the end as well. To the end. So nearly 2 hours been going. That's
I know,
bad.
it's crazy. Conversations like this, they just
so
go so quickly.
And see you next time.
Cool.
Yeah, take care. See you later. Bye.
See you, Greg.
Bye-bye.